हरिओम स्वामी जी। ॐ न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशु परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते तद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्था सन्न्यासयोगाध्यतय शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ते सर्वे दहरं विपापं परमेष्मभूतं यत् पुण्डरीकं पुरमद्य सद्गस्तं तत्रापि दहरं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तत् तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादौ स्वर प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः। हरि ओम।
हरिओम। पूर्ण कुंभ कहाँ है?
तो अभी आज वर्चुअल रखा है।
कुंभ should be there, ना? कुंभ should be there. Actually, you are holding that. Virtual मतलब
फिर नेक्स्ट टाइम
दिमाग में कैसे होगा? It has to be actually there. Then you can do from there. Next time, remember.
जी।
Yeah. Go ahead.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहना भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Now we move to Swamiji's introduction. Swami Swatmanandji really needs no introduction, but for the benefit of those who don't know Swamiji, a brief introduction. Swami Swatmanand is one of the most dynamic leaders of Chinmaya mission. Currently posted at Chinmaya mission, South Mumbai. He completed the Vedanta course from Powai from 1999 to 2000 after his graduation in commerce and software engineering. He has been serving in Chinmaya mission, Mumbai since 2000. He expounds the philosophy of Advait Vedanta through talks on the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, and other texts of Vedanta and Bhakti through camps, meditation retreats, interactive sessions, and discussions for youth and adults. Children love him dearly and look forward to his annual summer camps on various themes of spirituality, India, Hindu culture, etc. He inspires the youth with dynamic spirituality, encourages them to think and question. Various mediums like theater plays, treks, outdoor experiential learning programs, music, etc. are used by him. He has also taken the Youth Empowerment Program, which is a value-based leadership program for youth who want to serve the nation and culture, where the youth were trained for 3 months and the youth served the country for 9 months. Several corporates like Piramal's, Reliance, Mahindra, Tata Motors, Toyota, PwC, etc. have been addressed by him. He holds weekly discussion groups on the Bhagavad Gita for some of the top industrialists of India. He is also a playwright and has written and directed 2 theatrical performances. Adrashya, Quest for the Unseen, based on Saraswati civilization and developed India, was written and directed by him in 2009. 9 shows of Adrashya have been performed by Chinmaya Yuva Kendra Mumbai in Mumbai, Pune, Allahabad, and Chennai. Just like that, a play based on the Bhagavad Gita in the life of Anand family and how they discover harmony by applying the principles of Gita was written and directed by him in 2015. 4 shows of the play have been performed in Mumbai, Chennai. He also has conceptualized and executed the first outdoor Vedantic vision park called Chinmaya Pradeep, based on the life, vision, and work of Swami Chinmayananda. It is a one-of-its-kind outdoor park which also exhibits the essence of Hindu culture, Gita, Upanishads, in a unique and innovative manner. His simplicity, foresight, peaceful nature, and a balanced approach endear him to everyone. Now, a few housekeeping announcements. Many of us wanted to know about the payment link for Guru Dakshina. If you want to offer any Guru Dakshina, please use the link which has been put in the chat box. 2, we will now have the Q&A session of the questions being shared in the PPT. Currently, all participants are muted. Thank you. Over to Dipali ji.
Hari Om Swamiji, Pranam.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, Jasmine Didi's batch, we have been revising the entire advanced Vedant course chapter by chapter, and we meet once a week for 1 hour online. And so over the course of last couple of months, we have been summarizing each chapter, and one person summarizes in the class, and then we go through the questionnaire, the evaluation. And we discuss every question and we give the answers one person gives, and then we check the right answer. So, Swamiji, these are some of the doubts which we have gathered based on this exercise. So, with your permission, can I move on to the first question?
Yeah. You use the presenter view. Use the presenter view so that all this we don't see on the left side and all these controls we don't see.
Presenter view. So if I do the slideshow, Swamiji, will that work?
Click on the slideshow.
Yeah.
See this.
Yeah. So this is the first question, Swamiji. So this was a question where we first were debating in the class that proximity to the supreme reality is why the PFT of the Swapna Avastha is considered effulgent. And first our question was that isn't the bliss sheath closest to the supreme reality? And then we said, no, it's not in that order of any hierarchy. However, you know, the members in the class felt that it would help us if you threw some light on the word proximity, because that was what was coming into our focus. That is the Swapna Avastha, is the PFT has proximity to the supreme reality, or how? Just we want some elaboration, that's all, on this question.
So proximity wise, obviously deep sleep is the most closest to the self. And the options that have been given there are very limited options. None of the other 3 can be true, so by default 4th one will be true. The point there is, without any other source of illumination, how is a person able to experience anything in the dream? There is no physical light, there is no sun, moon, tube light, any other physical source of light. Yet we are able to see. And all of us know that the mind is inert. And so the effulgence of that deep sleep, of that dream state, Swapnavastha, is actually coming from the supreme reality. Otherwise, there is no experience possible. Hence, the consciousness identified with the state of dream is also called Tejas. Because in the Teja or in the light of that consciousness alone, this is seen. The dream can be seen. And that's why that explanation there. Proximity is creating a confusion there that needs to be changed actually. We should say the illumination of the supreme reality.
Hmm.
That's a better word.
So, Swamiji, is the bliss sheath more like, is it closer in terms of just our understanding to the supreme reality?
Of course, it is. The sheets are in the ascending order of subtlety, no?
Hmm.
And what does the grosser mean? Grosser mean what is external, which is tangible, which has more properties, and subtler mean which has lesser properties. And so in Panchakosha, each one is subtler than the other. Prana is more pervasive than the gross body. Mind is more pervasive than prana. Intellect is more pervasive than the mind. Blisshet is the most pervasive.
And Swamiji, one more follow-up question. I heard you mention in
Should
one of
remove this screen if we are not using this screen.
so we'll move to the next screen, the next.
No, if you are asking a question,
Okay.
you stop the sharing and ask the question if it is
Okay.
not there on the PPT. Yeah.
Sure. So, Swamiji, you mentioned in one of the classes, I heard you say that the bliss sheath was not created from the five big elements. So, uh, you said ignorance and agnan. So, are that also not from the five elements, since the vasanas came from the karmas, which were from the five elements?
See, bliss, sheath, and anandam, a causal body, they are two different models to understand different aspects. If we equate them directly, we will get confused. So bliss sheath, when we say, it is to say what? The experience of complete absence of any agitations and the ego is not there. The mind intellect is dormant, and that state of deep sleep is where we experience the bliss. So that deep sleep is the sushupti avastha, to make us understand a certain thing, that even without the experience of the BMI, without the awareness of the BMI, I still am. And without any object being present, I still experience absolute bliss, which means that I don't need anything for happiness. My nature is happiness. To understand that, that model is taken of the deep sleep state. Bliss sheath is obviously not only that deep sleep state. That is the exclusive state where we experience that because of the proximity to the self. That's why it is called bliss sheath there. Bliss sheath is also experienced in the waking state through the Priyamoda Pramoda. That anyway, one further question is there, so I will come to it that time. Now, when we say the five sheets, three states, three bodies, each of these are a specific teaching model to understand what I am not and who I am. So, from that state, if we say causal body is ajnana and vasanas, causal body is not created. Causal body is beginningless. That's what we learn in Tattva Bodh, that the avidya is anadi. Now that causal body is not created, we should not connect that to the deep sleep and the bliss sheath. The learning of each one is different. There the causal body is said to make us understand that that is the root cause of our sorrow. The root cause of our sorrow is avidya, because of which I think I am the BMI, and then I feel I am incomplete, and then the whole cycle starts. And until that avidya is not removed, sorrow and suffering cannot end. So the only way to remove avidya is gain the knowledge of the self, because this ignorance of the self is the root cause. Now that ignorance of the self is not created. But when we are in the state of deep sleep, the bliss that we experience, that model is to make us understand something else completely. So if we equate it that way, technically, yes, bliss sheath is not created. Because if you say bliss sheath is ignorance, ignorance is not created. But otherwise, there is a certain absence of all the agitations in that bliss sheath. So the models are for understanding different things.
Okay, thank you. Swamiji, this is the second question. Our question is, Ashtamurti Brit, why is it not the last option? Why is it marked wrong?
Because the simple answer is you have to know what are the 8 elements. In general, in philosophy, you can always say manifestation of the Lord as the physical universe. That is not a problem. See, description of the world as a manifestation of the divine Lord himself is also the correct answer there. And manifestation of the Lord as the physical universe also is actually a correct answer. If only one has to be chosen, then you have to mention all the 5. All the 8. So 5 elements and the Jiva, the sun and the moon. But this is not a multiple choice. This is a checkbox. The reason why manifestation of the Lord as physical universe is given wrong, that's a mistake. I don't know why that has been given there. That must be a mistake in the marking. Otherwise, all the 3 should be correct. The description of the world as a manifestation of the divine Lord, 5 elements, sun, moon, and Jiva, manifestation of the Lord as the physical universe, is all the 3 should be correct actually. So you can make that note. Some of these now, the changes we should make in the question paper itself so that the next batches will have the right paper.
Okay, Swamiji. Yeah, Swamiji, this one, work as worship is best described as yagna.
Now, yagna is the correct answer there.
And the answer is marked as.
The reason it is marked as puja is only because the work is supposed to be an offering as a puja to the Lord. So, yagna is also a correct answer, correct, actually.
Yeah. So, Swamiji, this was.
See, go back to that. 1 minute. Go back.
Notes
Go
and
back
it
to
says
that.
vratas discipline the mind. Okay.
Go back to the previous one. You see, in this, when Ramana Maharshi's description is given as puja, that's why the answer is puja there. You have to go back. You have gone very much back.
Okay, this one.
Okay. Not this one.
This one, Swamiji.
इसके बाद वाला.
Where the yagna description is over there.
Yeah, I see here. Ramana Maharshi's description of puja is this. That's why the word puja is there. Because Ramana Maharshi in Upadeshar says Jagatam Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Brud Deva Pujanam. His definition of puja is this. So puja and yagna both are correct. So the yagna should have been marked as correct also there. Only puja is not the correct answer. Is it a multiple choice or is it a checkbox answer? What is it?
Only one answer.
Then it has to be based on this.
Swamiji, only one answer has to be marked.
Mark only one option, yeah. Okay. Then puja is the correct one because that's going by the definition of Ramana Maharshi. Actually, then the question should be different. Question should be, how does Ramana Maharshi what is that service of the world is called by Ramana Maharshi as what? Then answer will be puja. Or this has to become a multiple, what is it called, checkbox type of an answer where you can choose puja and yagna both if this is the question. Yeah, go ahead with the next one.
So Swamiji, here we had a question that in terms of doing any vrat, even our body gets trained and our mind gets trained as well. So because BMI trio is an option, we wanted to check with you if is that also not applicable here as the right answer?
See, BMI trio is a very general answer. Depends on what vrata we are doing. If there is a Maun Vrat, then there is no BMI trio which is getting affected. disciplined. It's only the speech that is getting disciplined. So vrata will be classified specifically. The impact of it can be on a certain layer of the personality, less or more. But based on that impact only, we classify that as sharirik, manasik, or bauddhik or adhyatmik. So like upvas, when we say, then when the focus remains on uh, chanting the name of the Lord and not eating the regular type of food, then it will be considered mainly as a physical discipline. When we say Maun Vrat, it will be considered as Vachik discipline. Suppose you say that I will take a vrata that in the Shravan month every day I will read Shiva Puran, then it will be considered as a Bauddhic discipline. Now, obviously, we may be using the body to read, then we can't say that array, all the three are so tapas kyun nahi hai iska. Array, predominantly it is the discipline which is of the buddhi, where I'm going to study. Now, I will sit and read and I will use my senses and all that. I may read loudly, I'm using my speech. But predominance is of which one? Based on that, one will classify. And so, in general, a vrata is to develop willpower, to ensure that the mind does not wander, waver, and does not become impulsive. So, if I say that I will do 30 days vrata or every Ekadashi vrata, now whether I like it or not, I have to do it. So, I train that mind accordingly.
Swamiji, this one, our question was that as per the notes, we read that it is the Param Avikalpam, the supreme state of thoughtlessness meditation. So we were wondering why it is not the right option.
Because that thoughtlessness there is not understood as supreme state of thoughtlessness, which is the state of self. Many times people think of thoughtlessness as only absence of thought. So it is not written there as supreme avikalpa, it is written as a state of thoughtlessness, just to make a person understand that it is not merely thoughtlessness, because that's what everybody tries to think. What do I have to do in meditation? Become thoughtless. No, I don't have to do that. That is a consequence of it. My goal is not to only remove thought. My goal is to realize the self through contemplation, and that Brahma Vidya has to arise, which will destroy that avidya. Consequence of that can be thoughtlessness can happen. That's not the goal. Yeah. Because that happens every night in deep sleep. Doesn't change anything.
Swamiji, this was the classification under the 5 sheets. So this healthy body requires effort. So the way we were discussing this was that you need to use your intellect to do the efforts for a healthy body. So shouldn't that be under the intellect, under the Vijnanmaya? So that's why should it not go under Vijnanmaya Kosha, and why should it be under Annamaya Kosha?
Healthy body requires effort. Means what? To keep the body healthy requires effort. At which level you will do the effort? Body level ना. Exercise करेंगे तभी तो body healthy रहेगा. Vijnanamaya coach, if I jump to conclusions, my cholesterol and fitness
Is it not a decision?
अरे वैसे तो सब कुछ विज्ञानमय कोश है फिर. Everything is decision only ना. फिर कोई भी अन्नमय कोश में कुछ भी आएगा नहीं. I want to drive a vehicle is a बुद्धि. So विज्ञानमय कोश. Driving a vehicle is विज्ञानमय कोश. Eating food विज्ञानमय कोश. Sleeping विज्ञानमय कोश. क्योंकि I decided to sleep. अब ऐसे थोड़ी हो सकता है.
Okay.
At which level that effort is being put, that has to be understood at that level. अब feeling hungry at 9 p.m. आपने वो मार्क किया है प्राणमय कोश. अब you
Yes.
feel hungry at 9 p.m. then you decide to eat, तो फिर वो भी विज्ञानमय कोश में जाएगा ना.
Okay. And so, Amiji, this was also under the same one, that unable to choose a career path. So it was under Vijnanmaya Kosha, but we read in the notes the indecision is under the Manomaya Kosha. So that's why this question.
Correct. So in general, indecision is Manomaya kosha, no doubt. In this context, what is it related to? It is related to my value system, my career, my belief system. All that comes under Vijnanamaya kosha. And finally, deciding authority is who? It is the buddhi.
Mhm.
Mind presents the options, buddhi has to decide. Buddhi is
Yes.
a deciding factor. Now, in this context, it is what? It is not an impulsive indecisiveness. Remember, buddhi and mind, first of all, both are one and the same equipment. Only in a different state we call it as mind when it is very impulsive, indecisive, and in a decisive, rational state we call it as the intellect. It is the same subtle body. So when this buddhi is confused, not because of impulsiveness, but because it does not have enough, whatever data it doesn't have, or it does not have enough clarity. So many people have that confusion. Now, what should I do? I am good in arts also, I am good in singing also, I am good in science also, I am good in maths also. Now, which career should I choose? Now, that is not an impulsive decision. That's not an impulsive state of indecision. That is, confusion is there still because there is no proper clarity. So that's a Vijnanamaya kosha option. Okay.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, this is the question about the difference between the
Yeah, so in this, you see
bhoga
here,
of
it
the
comes
Vijnana.
indecision and various emotions. So that indecision caused
Yes.
by emotional uh, lack of stability, clarity, then that you can classify as manomaya. What is the difference
But
between?
doubt, which is not caused by emotional disturbances. Hmm.
Yeah, doubt caused by intellectual confusion is Vijnanamaya kosha.
Okay.
Arjun's disturbance
Swamiji.
that he doesn't know whether he should fight or not is not caused by intellectual confusion. It is caused by emotional disturbance. So that will come as Manomaya kosha. But somebody is taking a decision now whether I should take this career or that career. Now, in this days, payment which is more, but I don't have job satisfaction. In the job satisfaction is there, but payment is not more, or whatever. Some confusions are there. Then one will not be able to decide. Then that is the Vijnanamaya kosha one. Yeah, what is the difference between enjoyership of Vijnanamaya kosha and bliss of Priya Moda and Pramoda? See the enjoyership, you can close this. So the enjoyership of Vijnanamaya kosha is experienced where? Only in the waking state. Karta bhav is there of Vijnanamaya kosha in the waking state. So Bhokta bhav consciously is also experienced of the Vijnanamaya kosha in the waking state only. Now that the enjoyership of the waking state, we mean Bhokta bhav. It is not enjoy. It means everything, punya and papa. So sorrow also, indifference also, merit also, happiness also, all. Where I feel I am the bhokta, I am the karta, I am the bhokta, that identification when it is there, then that is called bhokta bhav. So that is called as the enjoyership of the waking state, of the Vijnanamaya kosha. Now Priyamoda and Pramoda specifically relate only to sukha, meaning enjoyable experiences. The enjoyership of Vijnanamaya kosha is everything. It's a bigger set. Subset of that is only sukha, the enjoyable experiences. Those are classified as Priya Moda and Pramoda. So Priya is when I think I am going to get something which I love. Then Moda is when the possibility is very high. And Pramoda is when actually I am enjoying it. So these are only limited to the enjoyments. But if I suffer, that bhokta bhav is there. If I am scared, bhokta bhav is there. If I am angry, bhokta bhav is there. All that is part of the Vijnanamaya Kosha, bhokta bhav. Yeah.
Swami, in this question, we wanted to know under which guna will the intellect be sharp and alert?
Sattva
Like
guna.
Rajas is the
Only in
Sattva guna.
guna. Other Rajoguna by itself, when we say Rajoguna as dynamism, not a problem. Rajoguna as attachment will make the mind restless and disturbed. And Sattva guna is what will make the mind and intellect sharp and alert. So Rajas makes the intellect sharp and alert. Correct answer is false only. Sattvam, na, when we say also in the Gita, it comes Urdhvam Gachanti Sattvastha. So even here you see in that what is given there. Go to the next one, the study material.
Yes.
There it says, now when Rajas predominates, the intellect becomes restless and hasty. When Sattva guna is predominant, the intellect is steady, capable of knowledge and intuition. So Sattva guna.
Okay. Swamiji, these are questions from the first question is from our class, and the others are
Your
from
internet speed is
Patanjali.
very less. I
So
think
first question,
the voice
is it
came with
lagging?
lot of breaks. Yeah.
Swamiji, I'll just take a minute to change that and reshare this.
Now
Sorry,
I will take
just
it up. Don't worry. Now I will handle it from here.
okay. Okay.
This PPT is here. Easier to do from here. Okay. Okay. Now one by one we will see. People believe that some particular idols can grant wishes. That is the reason. What is the reason for this belief? How can any one idol be different or more powerful than any other? So we have to understand that pratishtha of a murti, when it is done, a lot of factors matter. First is the purity of the rituals which are done there. Second is the person who is doing the pratishtha. Third is the mantras with which pratishtha is done. Fourth is the place where it has been done. Agama Shastra, according to that, the whole temple, everything has been made. So many factors go into this. Purity is a very, very subtle thing. It's not very easy to maintain that. And today you and I can understand that very well through the development in science, where when you go to the hospital, everywhere they will keep telling you to put that whatever that solution is, and then keep cleaning, because germs and bacteria and all that should not affect and all that. So COVID time we also understood the importance of this. So purity very important. If you go to any place, even here like an X-ray chamber and all these places, they will have a lot of restriction. Not anybody can just walk inside. So in a mandir, in a temple where the murti is established, pratishtha is done, and also once that is being done properly, then there is worship which is being done. Please remember always that murti is not stone. Pran Pratishtha means Bhagwan is invoked in that murti. Deity is invoked in that murti, and the deity will live in a sattvic environment. The deity will not be able to manifest full powers if the environment is not appropriate, which means that there is a lapse in the devotee's mind. It is not that the deity gets affected by that. See, the impurities, if they are there, infection, who will catch? That patient only will catch the infection, no more and more. Same way, in a temple, if the rituals have been done regularly, the required level of purity is maintained, the proper chanting is being done, offerings are being done, what the deity needs, what is that is being offered. So then the deity manifests there and grants the wishes also. It is not that the murti is more powerful. Don't ever think that the murti is stone or metal or whatever that dhatu it is made up of. Bhagwan is invoked there. And of course, Bhagwan blesses everybody. Whether we know it or not, we experience it or not. But in some places, specifically, we experience like that. Why? Because the manifestation has happened. Some great Mahatma must have done the sthapana. People have been worshipping. Shraddha is associated. The rituals are being followed. Then the deity is pleased there and is able to do. In some places, it is not done. So the power of the deity is much lesser. Meaning, Bhagwan will, again I'm saying, Bhagwan will manifest depending on your sincerity, Bhagwan will manifest. For that, you can pray from your house also. But when we speak about a temple or a particular murti, then when we go to that murti, the mandir, if that rituals and everything is being done well, and the samashti, puja is being done there, and people are worshipping there, invoking the deity there, and also there are rites and rituals where every 12 years or so there is a kumbhabhishekam that happens of the temple. So there is a whole science of re-energizing that place. And if some um, challenges have come, if some flaw has happened, then do the prayaschitta, and a lot of that, it's a proper science. When that is being followed, then the effect of it is so much more. And then the deity's grace and presence and blessings is felt much more. In certain places, it is not done that much. The bhavana of the devotee and the devotee is able to do something fine, but then there are others who will come and who will do so many other things. So then one feels that here it is not very powerful, there it is more powerful. Bhagwan is same in both the places. Bhagwan is not discriminating. And as to a sincere devotee, anywhere Bhagwan will bless only. But specifically to the place, if we say, then vibrations are localized in a place. Purity has to be maintained in that place. Then the effect of it will be much more. See, I'm answering these questions. If there is anything else which you have on this question, you note down and keep. At the end, we will open it up. Then you can raise the hand and ask the questions. Okay. How to overcome negativity, expectations, apply Gita teachings in our life. So how to overcome negativity? Negativity is overcome by positivity. Having an inspiring goal. Negativity is overcome when by doing our sadhanas. Negativity is overcome when we invoke love in our heart and letting go of attachment. Negativity comes many times because we don't have a higher vision. We get very selfish. We are not able to be more compassionate, accommodative to the other. So invoking love and compassion, including self-love. Many times negativity is there because I don't love myself, I am frustrated with myself, I am not happy, I don't see my strengths, I only focus on the negative always. I have to find joy in so many things that we do. Do we find joy? It can be, we keep saying every time, happiness. Happiness is not in the destination, happiness is in the journey. Very nice quote, but how much did we find on the way? Do we love? Every day is a new opportunity. Do we feel happy about it? The food that we eat, the work that we do, the people that we meet, every moment is can be joyful. It's my choice. It's up to us. As human beings, we have the freedom to choose. So if I'm able to choose well, I will choose the positive. The way to, no matter what the circumstances, paristhiti can be anything, manasthiti has to be positive. That's my choice. If I say, no, Swamiji, I am born only in such and such country, such and such place, I am an ill-fated person, what obstacles keep coming, I don't think anything great can happen in my life. You see all great people, in spite of the paristhiti, their manasthiti was so strong, they achieved greatness. They did not become successful because everything was conducive. So things may be going in sixes and sevens, but if my mind is very clear, I will hold on to positive. How? Because I focus on the goodness, I focus on the strength, I focus on what is positive. I love myself. I'm grateful that I have got one more day, a great opportunity. So if I live in gratitude, I will be positive. If I keep a selfless, inspiring goal, I will be positive. If I feel love in my heart and I express love to others, I will be positive. If I learn to identify where is my attachment and drop the insistence, I will be positive. And if I develop devotion for Bhagwan, thank Bhagwan, connect to the Lord every day, I will be positive. All these are ways to become positive, which is what Bhagwan told in the Gita also to Arjun. Drop your attachment, get clarity about self knowledge, serve the world with the attitude that I am serving Bhagwan. And Gita is so many ways applicable. There are hundreds and thousands of ways to apply the Gita. You take 1/4 of the Gita also you can apply. We don't have to choose separately. अच्छा ये apply कर सकते हैं नहीं कर सकते. Everything is applicable. Right from sattvic food onwards and moderation in food, sleep, speech, exercise, recreation, spiritual practice, to meditation practices, to 12 types of yajnas, to remembering Bhagwan, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva before I eat food, doing yoga, doing pranayam, remembering the divine, worshipping the Lord through my actions, following values which are given in the Gita. There is hundreds of ways to apply. There is no limit actually how to apply. I have to choose what I want to apply and how to live, how to destroy the ego, how to let go, how to surrender, how to worship Bhagwan, everything given in that. So it's up to us how we apply. Whichever chapter you take, whichever few shlokas, one can learn to apply. How to drop expectation? Expectation can't be dropped. Insistence only can be dropped. If you mean insistence, then yes. Expectation will never be able to drop. You expected that I will come at 4 o'clock or not. नहीं, I have no expectation. स्वामी जी आएंगे तो ठीक, नहीं आएंगे तो भी ठीक, हम तो लॉग इन करेंगे 4 बजे. No. You expect that 4 o'clock I will be here. Same way you give some task to somebody, you expect they will complete it. If not, they will report to you. Expectations are not a problem. Psychological insistence, which is what people mean by expectation sometimes, then that is a problem. This has to be like this in this time by this person. This is the way only and there is no other way. Or this is the only result I want. If I don't get that, I'm not happy and I will not accept it and I will be very disturbed. That I can drop. Expectations can't be dropped. How do we balance our spiritual life and social life? I feel very guilty when I'm in the midst of gossip and frivolous talk. So social life is also one part of our life. There is no doubt in that. We have to maintain relationships. We have to do vyavahar. Vyavahar is what is the purpose of relationships should become clear to us. Vyavahara or relationships, relationship is sambandh, vyavahar is transaction. So when we interact with people, what is our purpose? If my purpose is I am here to serve, I am here to give, I am here to love, I am here to contribute, then I am growing spiritually even through my social life. One. Two, I learn to accept people as they are. I may have some expectation, but I learn to accept also. If they give something which I feel I need, great. If they don't, it's all right. I still do whatever best I can. Then I am becoming more independent in the relationships. Three, this frivolous talk and gossip, etc., when it happens, we don't have to judge them or look down upon them and feel that they are lesser, we are greater. We don't have to participate. If we participate in it, we may feel guilty. If we don't participate, they may say that, oh, you are not being sensitive, compassionate, or you're not listening, etc. But you can always make it clear, saying that if we talk something more constructive, inspiring, productive, I will be more happy. This is not my taste as of now. They need to respect your taste. So I don't reject it. If they want, if you want to speak, you speak, but I don't participate. That's my free will. If one is able to lift them with a higher conversation naturally in a simple way, then great, that's the best thing to do. It does not have to be that my way or highway. Either you talk only spiritual stuff or don't talk anything. It can be a middle path where using the same day-to-day situations, I can bring a spiritual vision to that. Worst come worst, if that doesn't happen at all and one just is doing things which are going to upset the spiritual bent of mind that we have, or they're talking something which is cheap, vulgar, or something which is unacceptable, I can even walk out. There's nothing wrong in it, and there's no need to feel any guilt about it. Politely, one can say, thank you, I need to go for something else, or whatever. You can say, I have some other commitment or anything, and move out from there. Nothing to feel guilty about. We should remember only one thing, that no matter what, we have our spiritual evolution in our mind. The greater, the deeper we go into spirituality, the more loving, compassionate, polite, balanced we become. So the same thing we can say in a more positive way, in a more acceptable way. We need not be rude, curt, any of that. If something is not acceptable, it's my choice. I move out of it. I don't mean insult to anybody. I don't mean disrespect to anybody, and that can be expressed in appropriate ways, and one can move out. And no need to feel any guilt. Because Shastra itself says, Dussangaha sarvatha tyajya. Drop Dussanga if it is there. Don't engage in gossip. Don't engage in vain, indulgent talk. So I can prevent myself from that. How is desire beginning and end of journey? This is a bigger question, so I'm going to share it here. How is desire beginning and end of journey? During dark era, that is beginning of time, there was nothing except darkness. And out of this darkness, desire was born. And so it is the beginning. And as our desires increased, our vasanas and karmas increased. Hence, desire is the root cause, is the root of destruction. अब ये कहाँ से आया मुझे नहीं पता है, ये डार्क एरा. Whoever has asked this question, if they would like to clarify, please, you can raise your hand and clarify, then I can explain a few things. What do you mean by dark era, or which is the scripture that is saying about dark era?
It's not Hari Om Swamiji.
Yes.
It's not about the scripture. It is dark era. It is the very beginning of when that evolution of life happened. So
evolution of life, and we are confusing this here, na? How desire can an evolution? What does that dark era part of it say about desire? I don't know. Scripture doesn't speak about this type of a physical darkness giving rise to desire. A physical thing can't give rise to desire anywhere. Because a gross thing is a manifestation of the subtler. So what does our culture say? That's why I'm saying there's a mix up here. So I don't know what that dark era part of it and what is the logic, so I won't comment on that. The Upanishads very clearly say that there was only infinite consciousness, one. Ekoham bahusyama, and that one infinite consciousness, see, by itself there is no creation, honestly speaking, because infinity means that which is changeless. And that which is changeless is beyond time, beyond space, beyond causation, everything. Time comes into play only after mind comes into play. Otherwise, time is not there. Time is the gap between two thoughts, two events. Chronological time is the gap between two events. Psychological thought is the gap between two thoughts. And that none of that will come into play until there is mind. So when we are not aware of the mind in deep sleep, there is no time for us. So when there is no mind, there is no time, obviously. So now in infinite consciousness, there is no time. It is timeless. It is eternal. It is beyond mind. Now, if we say that creation is there, then how did that creation happen? So then we say the cause is only one infinite truth. Now that infinite truth, using the power of Maya, became Ishvara. And now that Ishvara had a desire that let me become many. So in that infinite consciousness, which is the supreme, in that there was a desire, the sankalpa that rose, may I become many. Now, once that desire has risen, then the whole Srishti manifests. Now, in that, we should remember that it is again an intellectual question to say when did the desire rise in that infinite? Because we as a jiva, we think in terms of buddhi, we think only in terms of causation, finiteness. So we want beginning of everything. But that truth which is beginningless, when did the desire rise? Can't be answered, because desire arose, then thought came, and then after the thought, another thought came, then only time has begun. And that's why Gurudev used to explain that we measure time in seconds. Why do we measure time in seconds? Because at the second thought only time is born. at zero thought, obviously there is no time, it is timeless. At first thought also there is no time. Like he used to give the example of walking on the beach. When you put the first step in the beach, there is no footprint. Then you put the second step on the beach, you don't see the footprint still. Only when you lift that first step, then you see the first footprint. First footprint is seen after that. Same way he used to say, first thought, there is no time. At second thought, the gap between the first and second thought is what we call as time, and hence time is measured in seconds. So the question has this, that during the dark era, beginning of time, there was nothing. So beginning of time is a contradiction, is an oxymoron. There is nothing called beginning of time. Because that time by itself, in this understanding of mind, only when mind is there, then there is time. Otherwise, there is no time. And that state which is beyond mind is beyond time. And so there is no beginning of desire. How we desire the beginning and the end of the journey? Yes, because desire is not the end of the journey. Sublimating desire is the end of the journey. Because once the desire has come, then what happens? Then thoughts, actions, results, they will give rise to vasanas, which again fuel the desires, and this cycle goes on. Why this cycle goes on? Because I don't know that my nature is infinite consciousness. That ignorance is what makes me feel I am this limited entity, and then when I feel incompleteness, then I have a desire. Then that whole cycle starts. So the ending of desire is by only knowledge. It can't happen by suppression of desires. It cannot happen by trying to eliminate desires. It will happen only by knowledge. When I wake up to realize that I am the waker, the entire dream world and the finitude of the dream character, everything will end. And so that is what has to be understood. So that's how beginning of, so desire, how we desire the beginning and end of the journey. We don't say desire by itself is the beginning of the journey. We say ignorance is the beginning of the journey. Again, beginning word is a limitation of language. Ignorance is beginningless. So the root cause of any destruction or sorrow is only ignorance. That makes me feel I am the BMI, that makes me feel incomplete, then the desire arises, then I am extroverted. Is that clearer?
Yeah.
Haan.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. The uppermost question is, can do somewhat mananam but get stuck there. So how to do nididhyasana step by step? If you get stuck in mananam, nididhyasana cannot happen. Mananam is to remove all the intellectual confusions and questions using scriptural logic. That's the definition of mananam. Vedanta anuguna yuktibihi anavarata chintana. So the logic as given by the scriptures, using the scriptural logic, when I come to a certain clarity that yes, my nature is Brahman, I am not the Jiva, I am not the body, mind, intellect, the world as it appears is not real, the substratum is the truth, everything else is an appearance. That clarity more and more I get through reflection, and which is why so many texts and different ways to understand, so that any questions are there, any wrong notions are there, they will all get removed. So when they get removed that way, there is a certain conviction that comes the moment that, so one grows in conviction. It's not a specific momentary thing. One will grow in the conviction, provided one is also living in a way where the body identification is reducing. I may do manan, I may even do nididhyasan, so to say. But if I don't get out of my attachments, if I don't think, if I encourage the thought process that I am this body and the comforts of the body are my comfort and I can't bear any discomfort and I want to eat, drink, and just be merry, ultimately that is what I am focusing on, where my body identification is not reducing, for which I have to live in simplicity, some tapasya, also some self-control. By tapasya, I don't mean that leave everything and go and sit in some forest and meditate. Anything which will help me to come out of my comfort zone and reduce my body identification is tapas. If I do that, then I am simultaneously increasing my conviction, reducing my body identification. Then only nididhyasan can happen. And what are the steps in nididhyasan? Simple 2 steps. Detached from who I am not, attached to the truth, which is me. So mano buddhi ahankara chittani naham na cha shrota jihve na cha ghrana netre na cha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu. 3 lines of negation. I am not this, I am not this, I am not this. Then who am I? Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. This is my nature. So assertion, negation and assertion. For quite some time in nididhyasan, this is what has to happen. Because the body identification is there, that has to be negated. In a quiet mind, through all the sadhana, upasana, when the mind has become quiet, steady contemplation I do, and that time there is no mananam happening. How can I be Brahman? Why is the scripture is saying this? Why is my nature as Ananda? All that reflection time is over. In nididhyasan, all that I am doing, and that reflection has led me to conviction that yes, I am that, I am not this, completely convinced. And if you say that no, I'm intellectually convinced, but I'm not able to apply, that is not 100% possible, because if I'm fully intellectually convinced, it will come into my application. Only 2 things are there. If I'm not able to apply, it means either I'm not fully intellectually convinced. 2, if I am convinced, I am not reducing my body identification, which means again that conviction is not complete. Because if it was complete, then I would not encourage body identification. So intellectual conviction one may have, body identification one should reduce in the daily life. Then when one sits for nididhyasan, mind will glide into that state. When it says that Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham, it will remain there. The mind will not wander, the mind will not fall into sleep, the mind will not get confused, saying, how can I be Chidananda? That is the delicate state. No sleep, no extrovertedness, no confusions, but abiding in that state that yes, I am Brahman, where the I is not this Jiva. I is not the body, I is Atma. So identification is with the Atma, and that Atma is not up there. Here, right now, in my heart, aham, 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 that bhav I feel, I am, that is the Atma. And that has no birth, no death, no beginning, no end, no change, nothing. That is me. So that clarity when one has, that is what is nididhyasan. That's what will happen in nididhyasan. That assert the truth, negate who I am not. The whole, see, nididhyasan is the last step. The whole process, I have done many times guided meditation. I don't know if you have attended earlier. If you have, great. If not, go on my channel, Chinmaya Shivam. There are videos on guided meditation there. So we give step by step. So you preparation and posture, then the auto suggestion, and then the present moment awareness, and the breath, relaxation of the body, then breath observation, then invocation, then concentration of the mind. This much is a preparation. Before I begin contemplation. Otherwise, outside this exclusive sitting, I should have done my Shravan Manan before. Then when I sit to do Nididhyasan, then this is a process of withdrawal from outside and then focusing only on steady contemplation, detached from who I am not, attached to who I am. So 8th step is contemplation. Before that are the 7 steps. So that's the step-by-step approach that you are asking. And in that 8 steps specifically, the approach is detached from who I am not, attached to who I am. Okay. How can we want to change views of our close relations who are very egoistic to listen also? Oh, you mean OUR, our, not RARE, our. How can we want to change? Basically, you are saying how to change. You should not want to change anybody's view, however egoistic they are. That is their choice. Their karma, they will deal with it. We cannot actually change anybody, and nobody can actually change us. We can only decide to change if we want to change. Same way others can change only if they want to change. Maximum what can we do? Lovingly we can make them aware of certain things which will harm them, because when ego is there, it will only bring downfall. In whichever way we are able to make them understand the harmfulness of the egoistic way and the benefit of the other way that you are trying to point out, whether it is through love, whether it is through logic, whether it is through a certain faith that they have in you, you please do this and see, and you will see the result, whatever way it may be. You can make them aware, make them, sometimes they don't have the ability to see how they can change their way. Sometimes they are very close, they are not open to you as a person, then try through somebody else. If nothing works, pray to Bhagwan that may they be blessed with Sadbuddhi, or may they be blessed to take the right decision, may they not suffer in life, and leave it to their prarabdha. Because sometimes we can't do anything. It is their karma they have to go through, which they will exhaust, then only they will learn. Was Bhagwan able to change anything? Think about it. Krishna Bhagwan went as a Shanti Dut to Dhritarashtra and to Duryodhan. If Bhagwan could not convince them not to fight the war, what are you and I going to do to convince somebody else कि भाई हम जो बोल रहे हैं वो होगा ही, होगा तो होगा, नहीं होगा तो राम राम. That's the detachment in which we have to live, saying कि I did my best, first I'm satisfied with that, and whatever else I can keep trying, I will keep trying. And I should also know if that person doesn't want me to try, I leave it. Depends on what age that person is and all that. Back off. No problem. Nothing wrong in that. No need to feel any guilt also about it. Because we tried the best. If they don't want, they don't want. That's their choice. And we respect the choice. Their privacy, their choice. Okay, they want to do it. No, Swamiji, they will go through difficulty in that. Okay, let them. They will face it. Now, their choice. They are ready to face it. So we learn from so many of these stories in our culture where Bhagwan himself is not able to convince somebody, then what to talk about any of us. So we can do our best. What Gurudev says, do the best and leave the rest. Right. Okay, there's again little more bigger question. My question is, focus on the changeless in the ever-changing world. Please explain and how it can be practiced. My question is how to apply teachings of Vedanta in my daily life. They are same only. Focus on the changeless in the ever-changing world. So what is changeless in the ever-changing world? I. The real I, the witness, is the changeless factor in the ever-changing world. If I want to practice this sadhana, I need to have vairagya. Because this sadhana is Sakshibhav sadhana. If I have to focus on the changeless in the changing world, I say I am the Sakshi Different roles are being played. I'm a witness in these roles, and those roles will be played to the best of their abilities. In those, there is no compromise. But my focus is not on the roles, my focus is not on the result and the experiences in the roles. My focus is on the I, the Sakshi, who is just observing all this. Uninvolved, unaffected observer is the Sakshi. So no matter what role I am playing, I play to the best of my abilities. Deep down, I know I am not this. I am only a witness of this. And the best example for that is the actor. Actor knows he is not the role. That's why he is able to play the role to the best of the ability and get out of that role and take the next role immediately. If the actor gets identified with the role, then he won't be able to shift to another role. And he will have confusion in his daily life after that. So, to understand that there is one changeless factor, the actor knows I am the changeless factor, roles are all changing roles. Identified with the actor, he says I am none of these roles. Yet he plays the roles to the best of the abilities because that's a role. So we all have come here to play roles. Our nature is something different. We may be playing different roles as a father, mother, son, employer, wife, spouse, friend, anything. In all those, I play the role, but I focus. I am a Sakshi. My nature is Sachidananda Swarup Atma. So then, pleasure, pain, success, failure, all that will happen in the roles. I remain unaffected by it. Even if the mind goes through up and down, one part of my personality will say, I am the witness of the mind. So I will not fuel that. Same way, body has pain, I will do what is required to remove that pain, but I will say, body has pain, I don't have pain. That way, I remain detached, doing what needs to be done, but being detached as a witness. That is how one has to apply this. This is language of devotion, language of knowledge. In language of devotion, because the whole thing was on knowledge only. In language of devotion, one says, I am a devotee, I am a bhakta of Bhagwan. In and through everything, I am serving the Lord alone. If I am doing my puja, japa, I am worshipping Bhagwan. If I am doing my roles, I am doing my duties, I am serving Bhagwan. So in language of devotion, hold on to Bhakti and Bhagwan. In the language of knowledge, say I am a Sakshi, my nature is Sachidanand. I am only an observer, uninvolved, unaffected observer. I feel more vocal, stable, and think and deliver myself and my thoughts in a better way. But lots of people are falling out of my circle automatically, who were once were in my inner circle. They call only for when they need my help and ignore. I feel so when I call. So I get anxious about it. How to overcome this? Should I question them straight? Very confused. Please guide. Now, why are they falling out of the inner circle has to be understood. Is it because your thoughts patterns have changed and they don't align anymore with your thought pattern? If you have become more introvert or spiritual, or your conversations have changed to things which they are not able to relate that much. What is the reason? So reason has to be found out. You can ask them in a way in which you feel comfortable, appropriate, and then take a call, because sometimes it is for the good. Like Gurudev used to give that example of somebody who is a smoker, then people who are smoking will be around. Now, if this person quits smoking, doesn't want to smoke, slowly the circle around that person also may change. And nature doesn't keep a vacuum. So if some people go, some new people will come. So maybe you can even think about it in this way, that if the certain people from inner circle have dropped out, if they have been in your inner circle, then you have always have that rapport to ask what has changed and take a feedback and understand. Second thing is that maybe some have dropped out, but some more new have come. That's a process of change also. So that we have to accept as a Vedantic student, that change is a part of life. Third aspect, very important. If I know I am doing my sadhana well, if I am doing my duties well, I am playing my roles properly, I should be happy in that process. If people are there, wonderful. If people are not there, wonderful. My security doesn't depend on number of people who are with me or a certain type of people or a certain person who is with me or not. My security depends on my sadhana and Bhagwan, that I love the Lord or I am contemplating on the self. My goal is very clear and then I move on in my life. So I don't need people to make me feel loved, happy, comfortable, accepted. If they are there, I am there to serve, I am there to love. If they are not there, no problem. That state of inner security one comes to because one gets anchored in this fact that I am a seeker. And many lives I have taken and I have come up to here. What do I have to realize is the truth. In that, there are people who are with me for some time. That's the example given in Adhyatma Ramayana by Valmiki, by Vedavyas ji. Vedavyas ji wrote Adhyatma Ramayana. So there he says that in the river of life, jivas come together like pieces of straw in the river. So pieces of straw come together for some time, they travel in the river for some time, then they depart. Again, after some time, at some point, they may or may not meet. They meet, again they travel for some time, again they depart. So if I understand karma well, then yes, sometimes it is karmic. Their karma with us is over, so they have departed. Maybe if they have to come again in future back, they will come back. Bhagwan will take care of all that. So there are different attitudes which one can take. You have to decide which one you feel or which combination you feel, and then take a call. My question is, can you please show me the right path which can help me exhaust my vasanas or bank of karma? Full spiritual path is this only. Exhausting karmas through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, all the 4 yogas. The simplest way is this. The essence of it is what? Do all the actions dedicated to Bhagavan so that existing vasanas will get exhausted, new vasanas will not get created. So Ishwararpitam Nechaya Kritam. I do actions dedicated to Bhagavan and I do it for his pleasing, to please Bhagavan, not to please anybody else. Bhagwan only manifests as everyone else, so I am serving Bhagwan through all those roles. But I am not doing things only to please that person, and if that person is not pleased, now I am desperate. I am doing it because it is my duty, it is the right thing to do. I am doing it in a way in which that person is happy. But beyond that, I don't have to do more. My focus is on Bhagwan. So Ishwararpitam, doing work with the bhavana of Ishwararpana Buddhi, and whatever result comes, I accept as Prasada Buddhi, that this has come from Bhagwan. If these two I am able to do, existing vasanas will get exhausted, new vasanas will not get created. More and more satsang will happen, quietude of the mind will happen, happiness in sadhana will happen. More that happens, the extrovertedness to go here, go there, eat this, do that, meet that person, and all that will stop. So new karmas will not come. New sattvic karmas may arise where we say, I want to do more satsang, sadhana, quietude, reflection, japa, be in company of people who are like-minded, discuss various things, all that. That way the sattvic karmas will increase, which will help eventually to become more introvert and finally realize the truth, go beyond all karmas. 3rd chapter of the Gita, read that fully, you will get enough clarity on that. There is some question which is again long here. I need your help in solving a very personal problem. I have been married for 28 years, but I am not able to handle my mother-in-law. She finds fault in everything I do. She shouts at me, which I am not able to handle now. It is affecting my physical and mental health. Please advise. See here, if you have tried to adjust for 28 years and it has not happened, then either one has to learn to ignore it or one has to maintain distance. If it is affecting our mental health, then you have to create a distance. Now, whatever may be the consequence there, then, because there's no other solution there. If she is not able to change her outlook, if there's certain things that you are able to adjust where she understands some things, great. If all that you have tried is not happening, then either ignore or cut off, is my understanding, limited understanding. It may be that there could be some other solutions, but from what I gather here, I feel because it's affecting the mental health, then one has to distance either mentally or both mentally and physically. That's the only solution here. Because if that person is very elderly and now to change that person may not be possible. And if that person is not wanting to see the goodness and only wants to find fault, that is that person's problem. That person has to then deal with the consequences of it, which is you keeping a distance. Because if communication has happened, try to explain, understand, all those steps have been taken, 28 years have passed, and still that person is not able to find anything good, then now that person is stuck in the ego or that person is stuck in whatever their notions are. Can't help it, then one has to keep a distance. Okay, last question is here. I have been trying to start my job and career back after having children. It's been 7 years since I left my job and worked for 8 years before that. Just not getting enough time to update and prepare myself for the interview. What to do, as I really love working in the office and want to start working and living my dream. Now see, if you are having a child, etc., then I don't know what age is the child and what is the requirement of the time and attention. But if you are saying that you are not getting enough time to update and prepare for the interview itself, how will you go for a job? So some time has to be created, whether it is prioritization has to happen of the work, or whether even that is possible if your demanding schedule is there with children and family and any other thing, then I don't know if some other help has to be brought in, can be brought in, and then some time has to be removed. Then you can prepare, update, apply, then actual going for job, all that. So you will have to either create time or prioritize or get somebody more to help you, assist you so that you can create more time. Those are the only options, in my understanding. If you really love working in the office and want to start working, if you really love that, then you have to devote time for it. You have to exclusively take out time for it, pay attention to it, and for that, whatever is required to be done has to be done. Okay, so these are the questions. There are two more which have come. Just 1 minute. It is said that all Jagat is Maya. What is a simple sadhana to shake its hold on us? What is the simple sadhana to shake the hold of Maya on us? Sharanagati is the sadhana. In the Gita, Bhagavan says very clearly, Mame vaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Those who surrender to me alone, they cross over the Maya. So continuously holding on to Bhagavan's name is the simplest way to shake the hold of Maya on us, because Maya comes in when we forget our connection with Bhagavan. Maya comes in the form of pleasure, power, prestige, popularity, all that. And our mind seeks all those things because it does not feel fulfillment within, because it does not feel the inner joy. It does not feel one with the Lord. It does not feel the bliss in sadhana, in silence, in quietude. So increase those parts and start enjoying the sadhana, start enjoying the seva, then Maya will not touch. Whatever I am doing my sadhana, I should find joy, whether it is puja, japa, upvas, any of the chanting, Gita, study, reflection. Wherever I am doing a sadhana, I must find joy in that sadhana, which is dedicated to Bhagwan. And then in my seva, what I am serving in the world, again I find my joy and connect to Bhagwan, saying, Ishwar Arpitam, this I offer to Bhagwan, this is for the Lord. He has put me in this place. I am doing the best of my roles for Him. Every time when I do, I remember Him. You know, Gurudev, my aunt went and asked Gurudev, she is a doctor. So she asked Gurudev that, Gurudev, I am a doctor, I am a I'm a mother, I'm a wife. So morning I have to cook and I'm getting ready early morning. I have to cook and then keep everything ready. Then my children have to be sent to school. My husband has to go to work. Then I come to clinic. Then I sit and take care of all the patients and again go back, again cook, again take care of the family. In this whole day, I don't have time to do exclusive sadhana. What should I do? So Gurudev said very simple point. He said, every patient who comes to you, think of that patient as Narayana. And every prescription that you write Om on that. So suppose you have filled 20 prescriptions on that day, 20 times Om you have already written. हो गया तुम्हारा साधना. Please remember, don't give this as excuse saying Gurudev ने बोला, so now I don't need to do japa sadhana anything. मैं सिर्फ ओम लिखूंगा हर बार जो भी मैं करूंगा. That is for her, in her context. She getting up in the morning 4 and going to sleep in the night at 11. She doesn't find time to sit exclusively and do. That was one stage of her life. So like that, whatever I do, I remember Bhagwan. Then the hold of Maya will not be there. The principle has to be very clear. One more question is here. Which murti should be outside our threshold, Ganesh or Hanuman? You can put both or either. Both are Rakshak Devatas. If you see in Pavai Ashram, before you enter the Jagdishwar Mandir down, before even the steps start, down there are two small temples. One is Ganeshji, one is Hanumanji. And then we go up. And then of course Jagdishwara is there. And if you see in Vibhuti, Ganeshji is at the gate, Hanumanji is at the gate, Ganeshji is on the top. Whichever one you have Shraddha in, you can put either one or both. Both are called Rakshak Devatas only. Ganeshji, anyway, all of us know that he was guarding Mother Parvati, and then once he was guarding Shivji also, so he is a Rakshak Devata. And Hanumanji, all of us know, Bhuta Pishach Nikat Nahi Aave, Mahavir Jab Naam Sunave. And he is a deity symbolizing full strength. So either or both you can put. But please remember one thing. People put both the deities outside, but they don't do anything to the deity. Picture लगाने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला है. I should worship. Even in today in Pavai Ashram, when we go, there's a worship that happens, Aarti happens of both the deities. People just think that it is some symbol, like some Vastu symbol and this Feng Shui symbol and all that. Tortoise rakho, toad rakho, ye rakho, wo rakho, laughing Buddha rakho, like that. Ganesh ji ko rakh do, Hanuman ji ko rakh do, I am protected. I'm not saying you think like that, whoever has asked the question, but I'm saying people think like that. रख दो उनको बाहर हो गया काम. अरे ऐसा नहीं होता है. If you put the deities, do some shloka chanting, worship them, put one flower or one garland or something, put some chandan every day, kumkum, worship them, pray, Bhagwan, please protect us, and remember them, their glory, then live in harmony. Both of them symbolize strength, which is a strength of what? Surrender, service, selflessness. If we cultivate that every day, we see them, we remember them, we live in a sattvic mindset. Both are extremely powerful, very strong deities, yet anchored in selflessness and service. No ego. Humble, loving, kind, compassionate, anchored in selflessness and service. And wherever there is selflessness and sattvikta, negativities will not come. Negativities can't thrive in that environment. Extreme purity, negativity, germs, bacteria, everything will die. No, it will not thrive in that place. It is like that. So we should remember them in our own ways every day. Keep them in the at the entrance, but also remember them there. Every time you go in and out, tell Ganesh ji, I'm going Hari Om. When you come back, you say, I have come back. I am not joking. Dongre Maharaj says this. So many Mahatmas say this. We are servants of Bhagwan. He is our master. The house belongs to Bhagwan. So when we go out of the house, we say, Bhagwan, I am going. When we come back, we say, Bhagwan, I have come. That is just one way. You can communicate with Bhagwan in so many different ways also. But the point is, connect with the divine. Don't just put the picture. That connection is what will protect. All right. So these are the questions that were there. I have covered all of them. Now there is one more question that has come here. In those questions, if anybody has asked the question and if you have any follow-up doubt or anything you want to ask, you can raise your hand. That hand symbol, then we will unmute and you can ask. One question has come here in the chat. Don't put more questions in the chat, please. If you have a question, you raise the hand because I can't answer at the same time look at the chat. This one has come, so I'm just going through that. On one hand, we understand the teachings of Gita in a relaxed environment and practices needed. But on the other hand, in real life situations, control over emotions, feeling anger does not happen. These two, learning in relaxed environment and real life situations, seem disconnected. How does one relate the two and benefit real time? Is there some missing link which needs to be bridged in the above? First of all, Gita is given in what context? In a relaxed environment. That's the missing link. Everybody ready to fight and shoot and kill each other. That time Gita is given. Number one. Number two, what is the Gita saying? Tato yuddha yujyasva naivam papam avapsasi. Gita is saying, hence engage in the work for the sake of work as a duty. Do your duty at that point in time. Don't allow the attachments and emotion to overwhelm. Focus on the duty part. In the most troublesome situation is when I need to retain my mental balance. And how many options Gita has given for that? That person who is able to maintain equanimity in the most troubled situation is the wise person. The Gita uses the word Dhira Purusha for that. How will one do that? That is why detachment is required. Why do I get provoked and impulsive? I should focus on getting out of that. No technique will help me if I don't want to let go of my attachment and my impulsiveness, which is what Bhagwan made Arjun very clear now. Arjun is very attached to Bhishma and Drona. He would have killed anybody else. If that day Bhishma and Drona were not seen by him, his delusion would not have even risen. But his attachment is to Bhishma and Drona, and then he got very disturbed and then became impulsive, doesn't want to fight, wants to escape. All that happened. What does the Gita tell? Be detached. So first I have to find out what is that which is making me impulsive. Why am I feeling provoked? In that same situation is Yudhishthir also, no? He doesn't get provoked. Situation is same. Both of them are fighting the war. But Yudhishthir, the word means Yudhisthiraha, one who is anchored, steady even in the war. Most disturbing situation, he will still be balanced. Why? Because he is anchored in dharma. Whoever is anchored in dharma, what is the duty to be done? I focus on that. I don't take it personally. Ego, if I take things personally, I will get provoked. If I focus on what is the duty to be done, this is my role, what is the objective way to deal with it? I focus on that. Second, I focus on dropping my attachment. Third, I learn to anchor my mind in my daily life in Bhagwan. So through the sadhana, if I have learned to quieten the mind in the provocative situation, I will be able to apply. Mantra japa, for example, if I am doing daily mantra japa, then when the mind gets angry and it is trying to build on that anger, immediately you start the fire, what do you call that, firefighting, no? When the fire is there, then suddenly you take that, that cylinder, and that fire you put off through that carbon dioxide or whatever that is coming out through it. Because it's ready, it's there, you're prepared, and any emergency you can immediately take and start. Same way, the mind which has done japa daily, in the provocative situation, that mind will be able to take up, and immediately the mantra japa will start. These are sadhanas to be done in the good times, then in difficult times it will immediately come to rescue. Kabir Das ji said that only, na, dukh mein sumiran sab kare, sukh mein kare na koi, jo sukh mein sumiran kare to dukh kahe ko hoy. So all the teachings of the Gita are very practical, can be applied in the difficult situations, provided I have done my work in the regular time also. I'm doing my sadhana properly, I'm identifying what is my attachment, how much time that provocative situation will last. You think about it, it will last for a few moments, but my reaction to it will create so much more difficulty. If I learn to sit and introspect, even if at that point I was not able to control, later on I sit and introspect, honestly, why did this happen? Without justifying my behavior, without blaming anybody, if I sit and ask, where did my response go lesser? Why did I react? What was my attachment? Why did I get provoked? What was the thing that I took very egoistically or personally? Then I will be able to identify, then I have to overcome those things. Gita is saying many things which I can apply in my daily life, but I have to do the hard work. It will not be possible otherwise. वो अपने आप नहीं होने वाला है. Just by studying the Gita, I will know, but I have to live that. Job of knowledge is not transformation. Job of knowledge is information. Pramana will give only a information. If I see a flower, the eyes are giving me the information that this is a flower. That's the job of the eye. The job of the mind is to figure out, okay, this is a rose flower, but I have to figure it out. What do I want to do with it? I want to write poetry on it. I want to paint using that flower, that flower's color and beauty. I want to make gulkand out of it. I want to just admire. That is how I use the knowledge. We can't say that flower तो बहुत बार देखा लेकिन painting नहीं हो रहा है. अरे painting अपने आप कैसे होगा flower को देख के? That तो I have to only create, no? That way. All right. So that was Q&A session. Was nice to have it with all of you. I think 3 Sevikas are here. Jasmine ji's class is here. Kanchan Parekh ji's class is here, and Chandani ji's class is here. So congratulations to all of them. They have kept you all inspired in the classes. It is their sadhana also, and all of you are also doing study regularly, helping each other to grow on this path through the mananam, through reflection. So we invoke God's grace, Gurudev's blessings on all of the Sevikas as well as everyone here. May we continue to walk the path of sadhana and come to realize the truth. We have a very important event coming up, which is in the next week, and that is this Hanuman Chalisa ke Rahasya. It is in Hindi, 24th to 26th September, Chowpatty, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, 6:45 to 8 p.m. We will do every day chanting of Hanuman Chalisa. Samohik chanting has a lot of power. Then we will reflect on Hanuman Chalisa Chaupais. Lot of beautiful tips are there for daily life, for relationships, for management, for leadership, for success, spiritual sadhana. Hanuman Chalisa is filled with so many beautiful learnings. So we will explore those, and we will also have some methods of sadhana every day. Little time we will spend at the end, and that is how we will be doing 3 evenings. See, you have benefited from this knowledge. Vedantic understanding and knowledge, and some of you may feel that maybe this knowledge should have come into my life earlier, my life would have been different. And even if you don't feel that, if you feel benefited, that's why you are here, please extend this to more and more people. Hanuman Chalisa is the best way to introduce anybody. And so many people chant Hanuman Chalisa, but many of us, we still don't know the deeper meaning of it and how it is applicable to us. So please come to these classes, these 3 evenings. Bring new people, each one of you, 5 people you bring. That is my request to you sincerely. The Rishi Rana that we have, what we have learned from the Rishis, we have to pass it on to people. So bring 5 new people with you and let them come learn about Hanuman Chalisa, and then whether they continue their journey with the mission, that is their choice. But please bring them. The link I'm just sharing here if you want. The talks are free, there is no cost to it. Yeah, this is the link. 1 minute. This is the link. And we have, I hope your Sevikas have shared it with you also on the group. In the group, it must be there on your WhatsApp group. Please do register and bring as many people as you can. Thank you. Hari Om. I just need to open the door. Give me a minute.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om, everyone. Swamiji, sincere apologies for not keeping Purna
Deepak Bhai,
Kamba.
Swamiji is just coming back.
Okay. Okay. I'll wait.
Yes.
Okay. Swamiji, sincere apologies for not keeping Purna Kumbh while chanting. We'll take care in the future.
No problem.
And dear seekers, few of us had attended a spiritual monsoon retreat called Sankat Mochan with Swamiji at Chinmaya Vibhuti last month. So I would like to narrate a beautiful incident from the book Sankat Mochan, which is again available in Chinmaya Mission. So this is an incident where Hanumanji met his master, Lord Ram, for the first time. So, after meeting, he felt that others must benefit from the Lord's divine presence. So he took Sri Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders to meet the anxious and terrified Sugriv. He introduced both, told stories, and built lasting bonds of friendship between them. It is said that the wood was lit and the soft, gentle wind fanned the flames to a glowing fire, a fire in the front of which man and God made a covenant of friendship and love. Sugriv, symbolizing man, is like an inert wood that is brought to life by the fire of consciousness. But it is the wind, representing the Guru, that stimulates the fire to blaze into light and the warmth. When identified with the body, one is like a Sugriv, inert matter. Now it is the Lord in the form of consciousness who enlivens the body, but in spite of the Lord's presence, we live as inert, dead human beings, constantly perishing and dying. It is only when the wind in the form of the Guru lights up the fire of knowledge that consciousness blazes forth within us and the meeting of man and God takes place. Dear seekers, we are truly blessed to have Swami Satmananda Ji to come in our lives as the wind, alias the Guru, to help us fan the fire of knowledge, to connect us with the divine. On behalf of all of us, I would like to express deepest gratitude and pranam to Swamiji for spending his valuable time to clarify our doubts today and also continuously guiding us in our journey. Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Thank
Dear
you.
all,
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Dear all, Guru Dakshina link is shared in the chat box. Please click on it now or copy the link for offering your Guru Dakshina. Now I request Kanchanji to offer concluding prayers. Om Purnamada. Hari Om.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukh Bhagave. Om Astu Ma Satkamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah. Hari Om. Thank you so much. Thank you for this enlightening class. It was a wonderful experience.
Thank you, Kanchanji. Thank you, everyone.